Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Todd Glenn. Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. You had a lot to be thankful for your family, for the friends, for your girlfriend, for your boyfriend, whoever you had to be thankful for. Hopefully you were thankful for them because they're right by your side, did everything to support you as well. Hopefully you had some good Thanksgiving food over Thanksgiving. Like for me, I had ribs, I had sweet potato pie, I had mac and cheese. So yeah, I had a good Thanksgiving with my family, and of course I am very thankful for them. I am thankful for the people that helped me get to where I'm at right now. I'm thankful for the friends I have, and lots of other stuff. So hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving as well. This is the first episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast in December because Sunday was the first day of December. So this is the first episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast of December. But without further ado, we are not going to stall for any much longer. We're going to go ahead and get right into the news. So Vancouver Canucks, Detroit Red Wings, Jake DeBrusk, he notches a hat trick in the Canucks 5-4 overtime win over the Detroit Red Wings on Sunday. This is his second career hat trick, and of course this was a morning game. This game came on at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. It was an afternoon game, came on 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, first game of the day. And one of Jake DeBrusk's goals was the overtime game-winning goal. And he also had an assist as well. So, 4.9 for Jake DeBrusk. And the Canucks moved to 13-7-3 of the season. Quinn Hughes, he had 3 assists in the game. And that gives him first place in the Canucks franchise history in assists among defensemen. Of course, he passes Alexander Edler, who had 310 career assists for the Vancouver Canucks. Quinn Hughes now has 313 career assists for the Vancouver Canucks. Pierre Suter, he also scored in this game. And Eric Brandstrom sparked the heroics. He tied the game late for Vancouver with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third period. And Kevin Lankinen, he made 27 saves in this game. And he became the first goalie in NHL history to win his first 10 appearances to start the season. And he passes Glenn Hall, who won his first 9 starts on the road during the 1965-66 season with the Chicago Blackhawks, and Cam Talbot, who won his first 9 starts on the road with the LA Kings last season. So winning his first 10 appearances on the road for Kevin Lankinen to start the season. Congratulations to him. Wish we could have saw the same Kevin Lankinen when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks. And of course, Nashville Predators, but mostly the Chicago Blackhawks, because you guys know I'm a fan of the Blackhawks. Speaking of goalies and stuff, we did see Cam Talbot leave the Red Wings game with a lower body injury, and he did not return after that because he was out with a lower body injury. So Billy Husso came in for Detroit, but before Cam Talbot left that game, he made 12 saves on 14 shots in net, and Billy Husso, he made 15 saves in relief for the Detroit Red Wings. And Jonathan Bergen, he had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Alistair Brinkett, Michael Rasmussen, and Vladimir Tarasenko also scored for Detroit. And the Red Wings, they are 2-2-1 in their past 5 games. They're 10-11-3 of the season. And they begin a 2-game road trip in Boston against the Bruins Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, while the Canucks conclude their 6-game road trip in Minnesota against the Wild Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And of course, the Canucks so far, they are 4-1-0 during their 6-game road trip. Of course, their only loss was against the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-4. That was their only loss so far during this 6-game road trip. But they have won 2 straight games, so everything is going good for Vancouver. All right, so the Bruins, they celebrated their 100th anniversary Sunday before their 6-3 win over the Montreal Canadiens. So 2 original 6 teams, 2 rivals going at it in Sunday's afternoon game. Always love to watch the Bruins and Canadiens go at it because they have a lot of history. And of course, the Canadiens coming into this game, they were playing a back-to-back set, which they lost 4-3 to the New York Rangers Saturday, coming into this game Sunday. And, of course, Capo Caco had the game-winning goal in that game. He scored that goal with 22 seconds remaining in that third period. And the Bruins, they played their first ever NHL game on December 1st, 1924, against the Montreal Maroons. And the Bruins won 2-1. Dutch Gaynor and Johnny Gorman scored for Boston, while Raoul J. Dangerer scored for Montreal. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right. But yeah, a lot of history between Boston and Montreal. Fun fact, the first ever NHL game that was played in the United States was the Boston Bruins taking on the Montreal Maroons. So that was the first, not only was it the first NHL game for the Boston Bruins in NHL history on December 1st, 1924, but it was also the first NHL game played in the United States. And of course, the NHL started on November 26, 1917. But the first NHL game played in the United States was on December 1st, 1924, and it was the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Maroons. So a little hockey history for you guys out there in case some of you that's new to hockey that didn't know that. And the Bruins, they held a pregame ceremony which featured a tribute video and appearances from franchise legends such as Bobby Orr, Ray Bourque, Patrice Bergeron, Willie O'Ree, who of course is the first black player to play in the NHL. We all know what he means to Boston and the game of hockey in general. And more Boston Bruins legends as well. And the Bruins and Canadiens rivalry dates all the way back to, you guessed it, 1924 when Boston first joined the league. And Charlie McAvoy, Charlie Coyle in this game, they each scored twice in the 6-3 win. David Pastrnak and Cole Kopecky had the other goals for the Boston Bruins in the win. And Jeremy Swayman made 26 saves in the game. And the Bruins have won 4 of their past 6 games. They extend their point streak to 16 games against their arch rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. They're 15-0-1 against the Canadiens, coming off of that win. Longest active point streak by a team against a single opponent, by the way. And the Bruins now move to 12-11-3 of the season. For the Habs, Cole Caulfield, he scored twice, and Nick Suzuki had 2 assists for Montreal. So congrats to those two. And despite the loss, they really came up big for my fantasy hockey team right there. Emilio Hyman had the other goal for Montreal, and Caden Primier had made 24 saves in this game. And Canadiens not looking so good. They lost 4 of their past 5 games, 1-3-1 during that span, 8-13-3 of the season. However, they return home to begin a 5-game homestand against the New York Islanders Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, while the Bruins will play a back-to-back set starting Tuesday against the Detroit Red Wings at home at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And, of course, the Bruins play Wednesday against the Chicago Blackhawks at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. For that Red Wings and Bruins game, that will be aired on ESPN Plus and Hulu, and the Bruins and Blackhawks game will be aired on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. So, Original 6 action going on for the Boston Bruins. They faced the Canadiens yesterday. They're going to be in action against Detroit tomorrow, and then Chicago Wednesday. So, it's going to be Original 6 days for the Boston Bruins. Speaking of the Blackhawks, they played yesterday against the Columbus Blue Jackets. However, they did not get the win. They fell 6-3 to the Blue Jackets, and Dante Fabro had the game-winning goal in that third period. In the Blue Jackets, they extend their point streak to 6 games, 5-0-1 during the span, 11-9-3 of the season. And Sean Monahan, he had a goal and assist in the game. Zach Werenski, he had 2 assists to extend his point streak to 8 games, which is his point streak is longest by a defenseman in Blue Jackets franchise history. He has 5 goals, 11 assists for 16 points during his 8-game point streak and 26 points this season. 26 points, 23 games played this season, so 8 goals, 18 assists for 26 points in 23 games played. Kirill Marchenko and Ken Johnson also scored for Columbus, while Elvis Merzlikins made 28 saves. For the Blackhawks, Connor Bedard, he had a 2.9, getting 1 goal and 1 assist. Nick Foligno, Craig Smith scored the other goals for the Chicago Blackhawks, while Peter Mrazek made 30 saves in the game. And the Blackhawks lost 2 in a row, 3 of their past 4 games. They're 8-14-2 the season. They're last in the league coming off of that loss. So kind of not surprised because it's the Blackhawks. They will score a goal and then they will blow the lead just like that. I mean, it's something that we have been seeing so far from the Blackhawks. So they've been inconsistent with holding their leads, and it's kind of like team management. Like I know Rick Ball and Derek Payne was saying this yesterday following that 6-3 loss. It's just been with team management. It's just been with able to find that consistency to hold the lead and not blow it like they do with almost every game. That game against Dallas the other night, that was like an unreal game. I wish they would play like that way every single night, but of course they don't. But the Blackhawks, they are playing a back-to-back set, so they played against Columbus at home yesterday. They will be in Toronto today to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And of course, to my fellow Canadians up north, you will be able to watch this game on Amazon Prime. So this will be on Amazon Prime for you. To my U.S. residents, good luck trying to watch this game. If you're a Blackhawks fan like myself, good luck trying to watch this game. Of course, if you live in Chicago, you can watch it on Chicago Sports Network. I believe you can watch this on Sportsnet as well, but I'm not sure about that part. But you should be able to watch this game on Amazon Prime if you live up in Canada. And to my U.S. residents, if you're a Blackhawks fan like myself, you can watch this game on Chicago Sports Network. The Blue Jackets play Tuesday against the Calgary Flames at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Of course, these two teams played against each other Friday, November 29th in Columbus, which the Blue Jackets won 5-2. And I said after the tragic passing of Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau, I said after that passing, and when I saw the news that Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau passed, I was very shocked. And the hockey world was shocked at this news. And I said, when the Blue Jackets and Flames played together, when their first season meet plays together, of course it was going to be an emotional game. The Panthers and Blue Jackets game, of course, that was the Blue Jackets home opener. They raised Johnny Gaudreau's number 13 up to the banners. That was an emotional game. Another emotional game, Blue Jackets and Flames. Why? Because those are the two teams that Johnny Gaudreau played for. Of course, Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, he started his career with the Calgary Flames. I believe he played 8 seasons with them. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was 8 seasons. He played the majority of his career with the Calgary Flames. And then shockingly, surprisingly, he signed to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And, of course, that news that day, I was very shocked at that because I didn't think the Calgary Flames would put Johnny Gaudreau in free agency and have him sign with the Blue Jackets. But, yeah. But two teams that he's played for in his career. And, of course, I said that was going to be an emotional game. There's going to be a lot of tears and stuff because of that passing. I believe the Gaudreau family and I believe they're going to be in Calgary to hold some type of memorial thing. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure of this, so I don't want to give too much of that away. But I believe they're going to be in attendance in that game tomorrow against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I'm not going to give too much away because I don't want to spread any false information. But, of course, last meeting between the Blue Jackets and Flames. So, of course, that game in Calgary is going to be even more emotional than the one in Columbus when the Flames were in Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. But you guys just had to watch that Blue Jackets and Flames game tomorrow night in Calgary. See what happens. All right, Jets, Stars, Central Division teams, 2 of the top Central Division teams. They went at it yesterday. And, of course, Mason Marchment, he had the game-winning goal in the third period as the Stars held off the Jets 3-1. Right, Johnson and Rope Hint scored the other goals for the Dallas Stars, while Jake Ottinger made 26 saves. And the Stars, they won 2 in a row, won 4 of their past 6 games, 4-2-0 during the span, of course, 15-8-0 the season. For the Jets, Adam Lowry, he scored the lone goal for the Jets, while Connor Hellebuck made 28 saves. And the Jets have lost 3 straight games so far this season. First time this season they lost 3 straight. They're 18-7-0 the season so far. I wouldn't put on the panic button just yet because I believe this Jets team still a powerhouse team, still a great team to watch. So wouldn't put on the panic button just yet. It's only 3 straight games that they lost, so no biggie. They'll get it. They'll probably win tomorrow against St. Louis when they face them at home at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And they conclude their 6-game road trip 2-4-0. So, of course, they are back at home against the Blues tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Stars are playing a back-to-back set. So they played yesterday against Winnipeg. So just like the Blackhawks, they will travel on the road. This time they're going to be taking on Utah Hockey Club at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, in which that will start their 3-game road trip as well. All right, Ducks Senators, 2007 Stanley Cup Final rematch. Trevor Zegras, he scores the shootout game-winning goal in the Ducks' 4-3 shootout win over the Ottawa Senators, and the Ducks have won 2 of their last 3 games. They moved to 10-10-3 of the season. Frank Pagano, he had a 3-point night. He had 2 goals, 1 assist. Jackson Lacombe also scored for Anaheim, while Lucas Dostal made 29 saves in the win. Of course, additional 2 saves in the shootout against the Ottawa Senators. For the Sens, Brady Tkachuk scored twice, and Nick Cousins also scored for Ottawa, while Linus Ullmark made 32 saves in this game. Tim Stützle and Drake Batson each extend their point streaks to 7 games this season. So Tim Stützle, he has 3 goals, 6 assists during that span, 29 points in 23 games played, 10 goals, 19 assists for 29 points in 22 games played. Drake Batson has 9 points during that span and 24 points in 23 games played this season. 9 goals, 15 assists, 24 points, 23 games played this season. And I know for Tim Stützle, I kind of made a mistake on that. 29 points in 23 games played this season for him as well. And the Senators, they conclude their California road trip 1-1-1. So they will return home to start a 4-game homestand against Detroit Red Wings on Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And the Ducks continued their 4-game homestand against the VGK Vegas Golden Knights Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. All right, so Macklin Celebrini, he was named November Rookie of the Month, and he had 12 points in 14 games played in November. 7 goals, 5 assists for 12 points in 14 games played in November. He has 14 points in 15 games played this season. 8 goals, 6 assists for 14 points in 15 games played this season. And on November 18th, against Detroit, Macklin Celebrini became the 3rd youngest player in NHL history to score his first regular season overtime goal. And the first, of course, was Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby. He did it at 18 years old, 101 days on November 16, 2005. And the second was Jordan Stahl, 18 years old, 153 days. He did it on February 10, 2007. And on November 26 against the LA Kings, Celebrini, he demonstrated his scoring prowess. He scored 2 crucial goals in that Sharks 7-2 win against the LA Kings. And, of course, that was a 5-goal period for the Sharks when he scored. And he's tied for 3rd in points among rookies with 14. Of course, Lane Hudson is the other NHL rookie with 14 points. First in points in rookies is Matej Michkov with 19. And the second is Logan Stankoven with 15. And the Sharks will continue their 6-game road trip in Washington, D.C. against the Capitals Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So let's see if Macklin Celebrini will get another goal in that game. And, of course, some more points. Which leads me into a discussion with the San Jose Sharks. So the Sharks, despite them being 6th place in their division and 9-13-5 of the season, they're a really great young team. I mean, they're still in the rebuild. But I believe November they kind of surprised me a little bit. They were 6-6-3 during the month of November. And, of course, the key young players, Macklin Celebrini, already showing his impact, already showing his scoring prowess. And, of course, some of his chemistry with his line mates, according to the Daily Helmsman, William Eklund, Fabian Zelevin, have been really cool to watch. And, of course, Will Smith. I believe Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith played together for the same AA hockey team. But Will Smith, he's a critical part of this rebuild. And his ability to generate scoring chances adds depth to the Sharks' offensive potential. And, of course, William Eklund, another young player. So after some time development, William Eklund, he's trying to become a great young player for the Sharks to step into that leadership role and showing his two-way play. And other young players, Thomas Barlow and Ethan Carwell, who scored his first NHL goal in that Seattle game. Of course, the Sharks won 8-5 in that game before the Sharks traveled to Seattle, faced the Kraken, and won 4-2 in that game. They played them at home in the Shark Tank. They won 8-5 in that game. Ethan Carwell scored his first NHL goal in that game. And, of course, Thomas Barlow and Ethan Carwell, they both provide that versatility and secondary scoring for the Sharks, which will be essential for the Sharks' offensive group. And, of course, the Sharks head coach, Ryan Warsofsky, he has had a great aggressive playing style for the Sharks, especially doing forechecks on special teams. So, nonetheless, I believe the Sharks rebuild is going somewhere. It's going somewhere. It's going to be worth it. They just have to be consistent and play the same type of game. They have to play the same style game. They had a really great November, like I mentioned, but it just depends on that consistency and being able to show it and playing the same way that they've been playing like every night. So, yeah. I'm not a Sharks fan, so I really don't watch them unless they're playing the Blackhawks, of course. I keep an eye on them every now and then because, like I said, they're a great young team to watch, and this rebuild is going to go somewhere. But, yeah, it just all depends with their consistency and scoring. Of course, Mikhail Granlund, I believe he leads the team in points and goals. I don't know about assists, but he has been really coming up big for the San Jose Sharks. And if you take a look at their forward groups, according to the Daily Faceoff, they don't have a bad forward group. I mean, I like that first line with William Eklund, Macklin Celebrini, and Fabian Zetterman. The second line is more, it's like decent. Luke Cunningham, Alice Wenberg, and Tyler Toffoli. Third line, Kim Kostrin, Mikhail Granlund, Will Smith. Fourth line, Ty Dellandrea, Nico Stern, and Ethan Carwell. Not a bad forward group. It's not the best. It's kind of solid. Of course, this is a rebuilding team. So not a bad forward group nonetheless from the San Jose Sharks. All right, NHL games on the slate for today. So there's only 3 games on the slate. So not a busy day around the National Hockey League. First, we got the New Jersey Devils taking on the New York Rangers, so that's going to be a great game to watch. The Hudson River rivalry taking place there. Of course, these two teams will play at MSG. This will come on at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then, well, before we get into Blackhawks and Maple Leafs, this game will air on NHL Network. So if you guys cannot watch the game, you can watch it on NHL Network. Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This game will air on Amazon Prime for my fellow Canadians up north. And then the last game of the night will be the Dallas Stars taking on Utah Hockey Club at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Of course, the Blackhawks and Stars, they both played at home yesterday. They will be on the road today. So, of course, those teams looking to get road wins in this back-to-back set. Of course, the Blackhawks, they lost yesterday 6-3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. So you know this spark, they're hoping for a win. And the Dallas Stars, of course, they won yesterday at home against the Winnipeg Jets 3-1. And they're looking to go 2-0 in this back-to-back set. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. Hope you guys have a great day. I know it's chilly. It's December, but hopefully you stay warm. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys Wednesday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.